And welcome, everybody, to Saturday Divisional Playoff of NFL Primetime. We're down to the Grade 8, and we were much anticipating these games. I'm Chris Berman. Glad you could join us, and I'm glad to be joined again by Tim Hasselback. We had fun last week. This steps it up a bit. You raring to go?
I'm ready to go, Bo.
Well, let's not hesitate anymore. You know what? We all knew that in the AFC game between the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo, that look, we've got Lamar Jackson, last year's MVP. You got Josh Allen, the quarterback for the Bills, who is close to MVP this year. We'll see how it turns out. We got two teams that last week won playoff games and slipped proverbial monkeys off their back. They were going to play loose. Yeah, it was cold. Yeah, it was night at Buffalo. Yeah, it was a little bit windy. But you know what? There's no question this was going to be an offensive firework game. That's why they play the games. Here we go from Orchard Park, New York. Did I say everyone knows it's windy? The association, I'm dating myself. Tell you what, some fans in again, and they were ready to see Josh Allen against Lamar Jackson. Who's going to light it up? Now, the Ravens came out running well, picked up several first downs, but then Levi Wallace, Bills defense of Leslie Frazier, and head coach Sean McDermott stops the Ravens, but automatic Justin Tucker. Doink! He's not automatic. The win, we're going to talk about it. Who knows what Tucker goes, really? 41-yard field goal, no good. First under 50-yard field goal he's missed in his playoff career. Sam Cook, been around 15, 16 years, Ravens. Must have been into the win because Sam Cook, it was not just another Saturday night, and I ain't got nobody. I got the money, but I just got, never mind. 23-yard punt. Allen. The Ravens bring it. Justin Madubuike kind of hits him, Tim. Kind of.
That's a little late, but it's the flop that gets the flag. And good acting by Josh Allen.
He got him. Now, 3rd and 9 from the 10. Ooh, good coverage by Humphrey on Gabriel Davis. But
it is tight coverage. Davis probably can't pull that one in.
So, the Bills end up with a field goal by the rookie Tyler Bass, 3-0. Last seconds of the first quarter. Allen to Stephon Diggs and overthrown by like 8 yards.
By a lot. He doesn't miss Diggs often.
That has to be with the win. The Bills did not rush the ball at all in the first quarter. Did you hear me? At all. Everything passing. Now, Lamar Jackson. He can do this and finds the youngster J.K. Dobbins. He can do that. Escapes a tackle, 31-yard pickup. Ravens now on the move. And you know that Justin Tucker is not going to do this twice. 46 yards. You see the wind. It's, wait a minute. Doink off the other upright. First time in any game, Tucker's career, that he had multiple missed field goals of under 50 yards. We've just never seen it. Under a minute to go in the first half. Ravens rolling. Lamar Jackson, Hollywood Brown. Go backward, go forward. It's a 30-yard game. Baltimore moving, 8 seconds left. Tucker comes out. Well, this is going to be right down the middle. Well, you know that. And it is just in there. But we're tied at 3. That's 34 yards. 3 and a half. The Bills had one scramble by Allen. That was their only run. However, Tim, a design running play in the third quarter. It's Devin Singletary. What are we, nuts?
Surprise him.
Later in the drive, but still, I think it was 7 passes, 4 runs on this drive. Allen, Diggs, the leading receiver in the NFL, 20 yards. How you Diggs me now? First down. Next play. They'll never expect a run, especially in the wind. You can't run in the wind. First down, Buffalo, and they move the chains. Now, wait a minute. 3 Bills on the left, 2 Ravens. What's wrong? If you're Buffalo, nothing wrong. Throw it to the back guy. Diggs at the touchdown. Tim, what happened?
Yeah, Baltimore just doesn't align correctly. You're right. 3 over 2. That's an easy decision. Josh Allen gets it to him as fast as he can.
And so we have a touchdown. It's 10-3. 3rd and 13. Ravens. Jackson running. And that's a clutch 17-yard run. Now 3rd and goal from the 9, Baltimore. But just when they're going to tie the game, nyuk, nyuk, nyuk. Teron Johnson in the end zone. He could go. Well, Lamar's going to catch him. No, wait a minute. He could go all the way. 101 yards, tying the playoff record for longest ever. 1993 George Ice Teague, Green Bay. Wow. And then, oh boy, whoop! And Lamar throws it from the 2, is close to his safety. It's intentional grounding, and he's in concussion protocol all at once, Tim.
Yeah, just gets drilled trying to throw the football away. Head hits the ground hard. Looked like he was unhappy that he was going to protocol and was the right thing to do.
Tyler Huntley, rookie, Utah, practice squad much of the year, comes in a brutal spot. And you know what? He had Brown. Oh, is that with the win? I guess. Ooh. 5 minutes to go in the game. I got to say, Tim Huntley got him moving. He had a really nice run. And, I mean, he's not expecting to play in this thing. Throws it to Brown. The kid showed some poise, huh?
Moving the football team at this point off the bench in that spot.
Big 3rd down conversion. 4th and goal. A post pattern. Literally. Mark Andrews, can't make the leaping grab.
Yeah, had his hands on him, would have had his feet in bounds, but that defense of Buffalo swarming him in the end zone.
Who would have thought? Well, look, the Bills, celebration. They're going to the AFC Championship game. Who would have thought in a game between the Bills and the Ravens, there would be 2 touchdowns, 1 on offense, 1 on defense? Who would have thought that the Bills would have no designed running plays in the first half and they would win? And who would have thought that the Baltimore Ravens, who ran for some yards, but many of the drives kind of got stalled? Interesting tactics as the Bills come away with the victory at home.
I'm going to pat myself on the back. In practice, I go behind him and I try to punch the ball out. So Taryn had that extra sense to kind of look back and feel someone else coming and hold on to the ball and to finish the score. But just an unbelievable play, just one of those games or one of those plays that'll be remembered for a really long time.
Honestly, when the play happened, I didn't know what was going on. I seen the pick, then he kind of slowed down, and then he just took off. Nobody knew what was going on. Then all we see is the last name Johnson running down the field. I'm like, what the? I'm like, hey, let's go. And everybody's jumping, and I could barely see. And I'm trying to see, and it's just like, man, look, TJ just scored, man. Taryn Johnson just scored.
Maybe in the middle of the play, I felt like it was a big play. You know what I'm saying? Just having the opportunity to take it all the way back. Like, I feel like that's what made it more than just an interception. Just taking it all the way back and putting points on the board. That was the biggest accomplishment.
I mean, look, 101 yard. So, Tim, let's start by this. He's 4th round, Weber State, 2018. He's the one late first half against Pittsburgh that changed that game around. The Bills were behind the Steelers. They ended up winning. I think it's been a few years since they had a pick 6 until then. Now they've had a few. So their defense, which they were known for until this year, is the one that picked up the slack. Not like we thought it would play out, is it?
No, it's not what we thought, but you said it in the highlight, Boom. The job that Leslie Frazier's defense has done, and obviously Sean McDermott's fingerprints are all over that defense. You said it, they've been building it for quite some time. It was really only this year where the offense caught up, and the performance against a good Ravens team that came in hot was impressive. Well,
and look, let's talk a little strategy first. One side, Buffalo. I think the Ravens didn't blitz nearly any as much as they thought in the first half, and they also saw that last week Henry ran for 40 yards. Well, we can't do that. No, all passing on a windy day. Everyone was trying to outthink the other, and although then we go to the third quarter where each team had good long drives until the end for the Ravens. So maybe, I don't know, you don't do that, I'm going to do this. Interesting chess match.
Interesting is probably a polite way to put it. I didn't like the plan at all for Buffalo. I didn't. Maybe you're right. Running in the wind is difficult as well. Look, I think at some point you do need some balance, just to help your offensive line so that you're not just getting teed off each and every single play. But look, I understand that you want the ball in your best player's hand, and their best player is Josh Allen, and their next best player is Stephon Diggs. And so I think they want to create as many of those opportunities as they can. They trust their quarterback. And so in that regard, it makes sense. But I do think some balance would serve them well.
Well, I mean, look, they won the game, and they just figured he could find guys against the non-blitz, and it certainly worked with the big drive in the third quarter. Now, Lamar Jackson had some chances, but maybe missed. Well, he did miss, right?
He did. I thought he really struggled. Decision-making in the running game and in the passing game. And in the run game, they run so many of these read plays. Here's one where the ball should be handed off. He gets stuck with it on an RPO. It's an 11-yard loss. Here's another one that should be handed to Dobbins. He keeps it, and Murphy tackles him behind the line of scrimmage. And then, obviously, the decision in the red zone, an area he's been so good throughout his entire career, just doesn't see it. And Tampa 2 coverage down in the red zone, and throws the pick to Johnson that goes back for the score.
Well, they outgained. I mean, that's not going to make them very happy on the flight, 340 to 220. They ran for 150 yards, but in the end, I mean, they get 3 points on the board, and unbelievable. Even Tucker struggled in the win. Now, the Bills' defense, I just want to show this back-to-back sequence in the second quarter. I mean, I thought wherever Milano, 58, and Edmonds were making the tackles, 49, if they were way down the field, the Bills were in trouble. So you see him, well, that's a defense, that's the same play. And then look at this. So he covered. He's my favorite player to watch with the Bills. I mean, he gets to the backfield. He has a nose for the ball. They had a really good plan of gap control, I think, for most of the time. A lot of the Ravens running was like 60 yards on the very first drive. And they had a very good plan. For Lamar Jackson, was not the greatest passer in the world. They had their plan together on defense. That you could see.
Boom, I think it's a great point. Those guys were all over the place. And a lot of times, on a design pass play, you see Lamar take off. They were able to run him down, get good angles on him, and then, as you showed, do a good job covering ground in the passing game when we've seen guys like Mark Andrews really be productive for that Ravens offense. So I think in many ways, they were the difference in terms of limiting what Baltimore could do offensively, and clearly held them without a score.
Now, look, Baltimore ended up winning those 6 in a row, and they're to be commended. But moving forward, and we don't know what Buffalo will host. That would be if Cleveland wins on Sunday, or if they will go to Kansas City. But they're in the AFC Championship game for the first time since they beat Kansas City in 1993 with Joe Montana at quarterback. But one thing here, so the Bills won against the Colts, tight one, but a lot of offense. Now they win the other way. This can only be good things for them to win different ways in their pocket. Do you agree?
Oh, I completely do. Look, you need to be complimentary, and you need to be able to, when one side of the ball is struggling, have somebody else step up and make a play. Look, that's what good teams do. Even teams that have great offenses, sometimes they'll have a bad outing, and so there's got to be confidence that comes from that, especially when we could be seeing, a matchup where they're going to need to make plays on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and they won a game where Cole Beasley caught none. Who knows if he's really 100% or not, but they'll find out next week if another week will help them. So, again, they won with nothing Beasley. They won with one offensive touchdown, and they're moving to the AFC Championship game. And I can tell you that no one is disappointed in Buffalo. However, they won it. The Wagons, they circled interestingly, but they did it, and congrats to Baltimore for their late run. All right. The NFC game earlier, well, this was going to be a contrast in styles big time. You have the number one scoring offense in football with the probable MVP, Aaron Rodgers. We're talking about the Packers, scored 509 points, and they ranked so high up in all categories. Here's the number one scoring defense and least yards allowed defense in the LA Rams, who absolutely throttled the Seattle Seahawks. So, I mean, this was a difference in style. And it was a playoff game on the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. So here we go. Battle of Aaron's. How healthy would Aaron Donald beat. Aaron Rodgers, coach Matt LaFleur before the game. And Rodgers, to Allen Lounge Lazard. Incomplete. Rams get a stop on third down very early. It's 3-0 Green Bay. 4th and 1. The Rams are going to go deep, but the play clock expiring. Sean McVay calls a timeout. LaFleur goes, wait a minute. No. Yes, he got a timeout, but then there's a penalty. Austin Corbett jumps off sides, and so the Rams end up kicking a field goal after all, 3-3. Now this is about what you thought this might be. Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, early second, touchdown, Pack.
Yeah, cool play design. They motion Adams across the formation, then motion him back. Just has to outflank Ramsey, and then Ramsey's furious that Nick Scott didn't pass it off.
Do I see snow at Lambeau? Yeah, I do. After a tough first series throwing the ball well, Jared Goff sacked by Jazarius Smith, one of the Smith brothers' cough drops, and the Packers fans, they're in at Lambeau. First time, they loved it, Rams punting. Aaron Donald sideline. Rodgers, Aaron Jones. He ran and caught beautifully on this day. First down, move the chains. Now, watch Rodgers against Leonard Floyd. I'm going to throw. No, I'm going to juke. And this is the first rushing touchdown for a Packers quarterback in a playoff game at Lambeau since the Ice Bowl. Bart Starr. Wow.
The pump fake, the great equalizer for athleticism right there by A-Rod.
He went a little farther than Bart did. It wasn't quite as cold as when Bart did it. Goff to Josh Reynolds. I thought Goff threw the ball, Tim, pretty darn well once they got going in the game. And here's proof. Van Jefferson, touchdown, 40 seconds to go in the half. It's only 16-10. 29 seconds to go. Momentum on the Rams side, but not when you're playing Aaron Rodgers. 21 yards to Adams, and then look for Robert Tonyan. This in a half a minute against the top defense, Tim. Look at it.
I mean, it's incredible with this much time and this throw as he's climbing in the pocket. Boom, so good.
And just Rodgers can just sap you of the momentum. And at the 21, he almost sapped him big time. Rodgers, Lazard. Ooh. The Rams almost had a pick. That's Troy Hill. Maybe he's trying to go for too much. I'm Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Ooh, Rams there again. Johnson, the third, off his helmet. Pack do get a field goal. It's 19-10. Opening play, third quarter. Talk about momentum. We get the ball, and we get Aaron Jones. Rumbling, bumbling, certainly not stumbling. 60 yards with a stiff arm down to the 15. Second to goal from the 1. And look, you did all that work. Why don't I give it to you here? They had botched a snap and missed an extra point. They went for 2. They don't get it here, but they're up 25-10. And then the Packers pass rush. Rashawn Gary and Kenny Clark get involved. Rams punt. 10 minutes left to go, third quarter. 2nd and 17. Rodgers says, this may be the play of the game. Out of the end zone, almost a safety to Lazard, Timmy.
Listen, his poise in the pocket, in his own end zone, and the job that the guys up front did on Aaron Donald, incredible in that moment.
And so, instead of being backed up, Rodgers says, I know, Lazard. Pass was there, that's for sure.
Couldn't have thrown it any better, right on his hands.
Well, Packers forced to punt. So now, down 25-10, can the Rams get in it? Jared Goff, 3 pins in his thumb. Van Jefferson, first down. Wildcat, Cam Akers, the rookie. Get out of my way, 7-yard touchdown. And now here come the Rams. 25-16, they're going to go for 2. The hook and ladder. You got to love this play, right? On a 2-point conversion. Right, Tim?
Everybody knew this was coming. The old hook and ladder for 2. Well done.
I
Good
like
creative
it.
call.
Normally you don't like down nine going for 2, but I like it. It's 25-18. He had a play that he knew, did McVay. Now, early fourth, Rodgers throwing the ball away when the Rams feeling it on defense. There's a punt. But then the Rams have to punt. And the Pack. Remember Lazard's drop? Rodgers doesn't remember it. He doesn't care. You're my guy. You're in the end zone. Lounge Lazard. Touchdown, 32-18. 5 minutes to go. The Pack fans feeling it. Can we have another game in Lambeau? Can we hold on? Preston Smith bats it away on 3rd and 14, now 4th and 14. Goff, look out, no shot. Gary, sack, Pack, win, 32-18. Aaron Donald, emotion. Aaron Rodgers, well, he's been to 4 previous championship games. None of them were at Lambeau Field. This is at Lambeau Field, whoever they play, the Bucs or the Saints. Afterwards, the Rams, look, they won at Seattle. They played halfway without Aaron Donald. They didn't get Cooper Kupp. They were battling, but it was uphill, and Sean McVay knew it.
There's never a good way to have feelings right now when there's such finality to it and you're not expecting it. Love this football team. Love what, I love the scars that we were able to respond from. You know, there was a lot of ebbs and flows this year, but the men in that locker room I'm very appreciative of.
My job is to win the game. I thought I was able to do some good things out there every day, but no. My job is to win the game. There's absolutely no moral victories, especially in the playoffs.
Like I've said millions of times at this point, you come into Lambeau, you're playing a different brand of football. It takes you out of your element as far as the way you talk, the way you play. You get rattled, man.
You know, our guys went out there with a mentality that, you know, we were going to be physical, and I thought that showed through, and really in all 3 phases. So, you know, obviously we'll enjoy it tonight, but we know that we're going to have a really tough opponent coming into our place for the NFC Championship game.
So happy for our guys. Definitely a little emotional. Just thinking about what we've been through. Got me emotional with the crowd out there today. I'm just still really happy about everything that happened tonight.
And again, you know, championship game at home. He's won one in Chicago, lost a few. I don't mean to put it that way, but won it, and now a game at Lambeau against whoever. Hey, Tim, I thought, and I think you agree, the Packers were sharp. They saw what the Rams were capable of last week against Seattle, and they came out sharp and patient. And in the end, I think they kept the Rams defense on the field for 19 minutes in the first half.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Boom. They were patient and they were sharp. And, you know, kind of to add on to what Matt LaFleur said, they were physical, especially with that offensive line. You think about the job they did against a really talented front. They ran the football. I mean, look at Aaron Jones here, getting up to the second level and untouched. And so you're right, not stumbling into the second level. So much speed. And then it was Jamal Williams' turn. I thought all 3 backs for Green Bay ran hard, but it was the job the guys up front were doing. I mean, just covering everybody up so that they could hit the line of scrimmage with a head full of steam and finish those runs. And then how about how they protected Aaron Rodgers? Not sacked a single time. So much time for him to scan the field, find the open guy. I think, you know, when you do that to Aaron Rodgers, obviously he's going to find somebody. And here's the play we talked about in the highlight. Nearly 5 seconds in the pocket while you're in your own end zone on a really big play there. The guys up front need to be commended because they were good in the running game and the passing game.
Well, to your point, the Rams had the Packers 484 yards. I mean, against the Rams. I don't think they gave up 400 yards all season long. I mean, Aaron, he's been sharp almost every game this year, and his team seems to feed right off him. I mean, they knew it wasn't going to be easy, and at the same point, almost 500 yards. Wow.
Yeah, and I think when you get a quarterback that's accomplished what Aaron's accomplished, and you know you understand the magnitude of the moment, another opportunity to be here, that can either put pressure on your football team and they can, struggle, or they can rise to the occasion. I thought the guys around him rose to the occasion against the Rams.
Well, and there you see the number against number one ranked defense. The Packers have had the most yards. So they will take that into the championship game. We'll go back to Green Bay in a minute, but a word on the Rams. I alluded to it because I knew we were going to hear the Rams speak first. No excuses. Aaron Donald certainly wasn't himself. Kupp, who I think is my opinion, most important offensive player. You could argue others, but he wasn't playing in the game. And Goff, played pretty well, but he's certainly not 100%. And you had to be almost at 120% to beat the Packers in Lambeau, rested, the only NFC team rested with a bye. Look, they had a quiet plane ride home. I think they hold their heads up high. Their job this year, given what they did and didn't have, impressive even today.
Yeah, I would agree with you. So much uncertainty about how Jared Goff would play in this football game. Look, if John Wolford were available, who knows what Sean McVay would have decided to do with Goff coming off of that thumb surgery. And he played well. Now, he's not able to create offense the way that we see Aaron Rodgers and other quarterbacks do. I think that kind of limited their offense. And then you're exactly right. Without Aaron Donald being able to disrupt the way that he normally does, and quite honestly just played fewer snaps than he typically does, it did not look like the same Ram defense, and that certainly helped Green Bay put together the performance they did.
Well, let's go to the other side of the ball for the Packers because they now move forward. So their defense, most of the players not household names because, hey, it's Aaron Rodgers and it's Adams and it's Aaron Jones and Bakhtiari, who, of course, is hurt, the left tackle. Let's not forget that. Their defense, Super Bowl caliber defense, they look pretty stout.
I think they are because I think they have guys that are good at every level, and I think that's what it takes. And you need players that can help you turn the football over. They got guys that can do that. They rushed the passer. They had 4 sacks tonight. I thought they did a good job flying around. I think they have one of the very best corners, if not the best corner, in the game in Jair Alexander. And so, yeah, there are elements to this team, especially if they, are playing with the lead and teams are passing the ball against them, where they know they can kind of dial up some unique blitz pressures like Mike Pettin likes to do, then I think this defense can be really good and certainly good enough when they're paired with what they have on offense.
And let's say this, remember, Coach LaFleur, he came in. I'm going back a year and a half. He and Aaron Rodgers, they're having a tough time getting a lot. Look at the record, and 2 years, 2 championship games. Of course, they got in it last year and finally fell to San Francisco. I would say they're pretty compatible, wouldn't you?
Boom, I think you are so right to point that out. Yeah, sure, we're going back a little bit, but that was all the talk. Could these guys get along? Was Matt LaFleur going to be okay with Aaron Rodgers audibling? I think he's handling that just fine. And listen, Aaron Rodgers certainly, between, I guess, the discussion about that and then the drafting of Jordan Love, certainly has decided to just put his head down and play great football.
You know what? No matter what happens as we speak, it's Saturday night. I know the show runs all week, but either way, Aaron will be by far the junior member of the NFC Championship game matchup in quarterback against either Tom Brady or Drew Brees. After being kind of, I'm bordering on toward the end at some point, he's got to love this, right?
Oh, you do. And I think these guys have to love the idea to be able to match up and play each other. I mean, let's face it, whoever it is, the opportunity and for fans to see great quarterbacks competing at this point in their careers for what's at stake, there really is nothing better.
And again, it'll be at Lambeau Field, whoever it is, which is a fitting place to have a matchup like this that we may talk about for a long, long time, no matter what happens in this. Are we ready to do this show and describe that game tomorrow evening, pal?
We sure are.
All right, I look forward to it. Tim Hasselbeck, always a pleasure to be with you. And, hey, if all else fails, we talk about football on NFL Primetime, all right? Sunday divisional games. That show comes tomorrow. Hey, I'm Chris Berman. Thanks for watching NFL Primetime. Welcome to ESPN Plus's Sunday Divisional Playoff NFL Primetime. I'm Chris Berman, and, well, a couple of eagerly anticipated games, including a heavyweight bout of the first degree between two first-ballot Hall of Famers. We'll get to that in a moment, but first, he's no heavyweight. You know what? And that's only weight-wise. He's a football heavyweight as a savant, but in weight, he's a lighter weight. This is Tim Hasselbeck. Good to work with you again. Ready to roll?
I'm ready to roll, Boom. Had some good ones today.
I know you're a quarterback, but like very few have played like these guys. And that brings us, of course, to the last of the 4 games of the divisional playoffs. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We know how they loaded up. We know how last week was their first playoff win since they won the Super Bowl in 2002. And they earned themselves a trip to New Orleans to play the Saints, a heartbreak team in recent years and many times for Drew Brees and Sean Payton, but now this would be different. And did we mention Drew Brees? Drew Brees, Tom Brady. I mean, you talk about 2 of the greats of all time. Here's the stat of the year. If you add it up, all the passing in regular and postseason for these two, 100 miles. That means you could go from the Superdome to Baton Rouge and beyond. They played early in the year, these teams. They played in the middle of the year and now in January. Of course, the Saints won the first 2. Could they beat a team 3 out of 3, especially with Tom Brady and all of his laurels? Well, Drew Brees has just about as many, except in the Super Bowl department. And Brees, over the middle to Traquan Smith. He became a big player on this day, only just recently activated the weekend. But Tampa's defense made its presence felt early. Jason Pierre-Paul knocks the ball down. Saints had good field position twice early, but they only get 2 field goals, 6-0. Ronald Jones Jr., 3rd and 2, does not get a first down. Remember, he missed last week, injured. Tom Brady, you wouldn't normally say he's a great quarterback sneaker, but he is, right?
There's never been anybody better than Tom at that.
And he tried to find his old reliable Rob Gronkowski. Malcolm Jenkins made a really nice play. Neither team can figure out how to get in the end zone, which is opposite what we just said of 100 miles throwing. 6-3. Uh-oh! Sean Murphy Bunting picks it off. He's got a convoy until he's out at the 3, Tim. What a mistake, Brees.
Yeah, it's just a bad release by Michael Thomas. Then Murphy Bunting able to undercut the route. Brees should never throw that football. Nice play by Murphy Bunting on the interception.
And so let's see, you're going to give Tom Brady a 3-yard field. You think he's going to find somebody? He does. It's Mike Evans. He beats Lattimore 10-6 bucks.
Yeah, just Evans bodying up Lattimore. Is able to get inside and just use that frame to shield the defender from the football.
Later, 2nd, 3rd, and 1, Brees says, if Tom's going to do it, I'm going to take a quarterback sneak. And then you're going to go out and we're going to bring in Jameis Winston? Is he okay? Winston, needless to say, Tampa never been in playoffs. And what? Oh, tricky Saints. Kamara in the backfield. Winston wide open as Traquan Smith. 56 yards. You're going to tell me the first Saint touchdown pass in this playoff game is by Jameis Winston, Tim?
Just a ridiculous play design and call by Sean Payton that works brilliantly. You see kind of how Smith gets lost in the shuffle as everyone runs with Alvin Kamara and Traquan Smith wide open for the score.
Let me give you a little analysis. He was wide open, like you say. 13-10 Saints. 24 seconds left in the half. The great ones do something with very little on the clock at the end of each half. Brady, Chris Godwin almost hauls it in. Tough play all around, almost perfect.
Almost perfect. This is a great throw by Tom, and you'd like to see Godwin, who's got 2 hands on the football, be able to come down with that one.
So the Bucs get a field goal by Suckup. We're tied at 13 at the half, just the way you want it. Tom Brady, Drew Brees, tie game for the right to go to the NFC Championship. Alvin Candid Kamara up the middle. This needs to get going at 17 yards. And then Brees says, you know what? And I have thrown a lot of these. Isn't it time? Again, it's the Traquan Smith 16-yard touchdown.
And it's an awesome adjustment to the football as it's thrown high and away behind. Great job of going up and getting it and then keeping his feet in bounds.
Saints lead 20-13. Now 3rd and 2. Jared Cook has the pass. Antoine Winfield Jr., what a big season he's had for the youngster. And Devin White, what a game number 45 had. Tampa defense forcing a turnover.
And it's the peanut punch once again. It's Antoine Winfield Jr. Excellent job, because the Saints had exactly what they wanted on that third down play to get the ball to Cook.
And not only, Timmy, is it a turnover, but again, it's the shortest of fields. Brady to Leonard Fournette. He rumbles, he bumbles, he catches it, and he scores. We're tied at 20.
Yeah, a little bit of a low throw by Brady. It looks like Fournette's able to corral this. And Cook knows that turnover was costly.
So we're 20 all. Fourth quarter, 3rd and 11 Bucks. How about this? He's a rookie, not a name you really know. Tyler Johnson probably had the catch of the game, Tim.
It is the catch of the game. Look at that adjustment way outside the frame of his body. Not a great throw by Brady, but what a catch.
3 plays later, 3rd and 5, Brady. He's got a lot of weapons, including Scotty Miller between defenders, 29 yards. So here come the Bucks. Now 3rd down again. Saints trying to hang tough on the defensive backfield. Lattimore with a beautiful breakup. Bucks, they'll go ahead with a field goal, 23-20. Now Drew Brees, you're at home. Let's go. Brees. Oh, no. That Devin White. Look at this. Not on the stiff arm, the pick, the big return, 28-yard return, and this didn't look good, Timmy.
Now, never good from the start here. You see Brees trying to get the ball to Kamara. Kamara not expecting it. Bit of a miscommunication. Brees can't believe it.
All right, so now the Bucks. I've used all my weapons, yeah, but how about the guy I've used so much in my career, to Gronk? 14 yards. Bucks now with goal to go. They can put this to a 2-score game. Second and goal from the 1. Here he is. Tom Brady, Mr. Sneak. That's his 7th, quote, rushing touchdown of his illustrious postseason career. And you know what, Ref? What do you think? High five? I can't quite. Yeah, you can. No, you can't. They're up 30-20. Now Drew Brees needs magic, and this was the wrong kind of it. Ball tipped. Mike Edwards comes down with it. Bucks defense, the 4th turnover.
Yeah, and you just thought when Brees had to start forcing it down the field, the way that Bucks defense was playing, getting their hands on it, and Brees talking it over with Cook, that was a tough one.
And the Bucks ran it out. Tampa Bay comes from behind, and 2 of the greatest we've ever seen play. They've had a long run since the Big Ten, and more on Drew in a moment. Who knows? But may very well be the end of the line for him. But we know that Tom Brady does not have the end of the line. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are moving on just where a team from Florida wants to go in late January. Green Bay. At least it's a day game. The Bucks beat the Saints 30-20. The Saints do not sweep the 3-game series, to the chagrin of Sean Payton and company.
It's hard to beat a team that's in the playoffs in this divisional round of the playoffs when you have that lopsided of a turnover ratio. And you credit Tampa Bay, they did enough things and played well to win. I can't speak for Drew. Obviously, I would take up all of my time on your question tonight, and I think that I do think it's for another press conference, and obviously he's been tremendous for this team, this city. I could go on and on, but let's wait and answer that at the right time.
Well, we hope to hear from the Bucs shortly because they did the winning. And we'll get to the Saints in a moment, Tim. I mean, look, there it is. I mean, do you need to know any more? 4 turnovers to none. Look, Tom Brady, neither of them lit it up. I mean, obviously with the 4 turnovers, Drew Brees. But when you don't turn it over and you're handed opportunities like short field and cash in all the time, you got to like your odds.
Oh, you're going to like them big time. And you could kind of sense that was the disappointment here in Sean Payton talk, because it's kind of a little bit uncharacteristic of, his quarterback, Drew Brees, to make some of the mistakes he made. A veteran player like Jared Cook to put it on the ground the way he did. And then, to Tampa's credit, Boom, look, they did have short fields, but they turned them into points. I thought defensively, the Bucs did a pretty good job as well. Here trying to shot play down in the red zone. They cover it up great. This is earlier in the football game. It's Murphy Bunting making a great play on the football. And then we saw this, Devin White make a pick late in the game. But how about the tackling to prevent the Saints from getting a first down? I thought this Tampa defense, Boom, was outstanding. And it was really many of the players in the back end that really stepped it up.
Yeah, David still can play. I mean, we know the names. They were a top 10 ranked defense, but obviously with Tom Brady and all the weapons that they have, much like we talked Green Bay in yesterday's program, you don't know as many of the names on the Tampa D, but look, they had to play Drew Brees twice this year, although it didn't work. They were good enough to beat the Packers once. So, I mean, this isn't just a team that got lucky on tip balls, is it?
No, I don't think so. I think they're good on that side of the ball. They obviously have some younger players that have played valuable minutes this year that seem to be getting better. Devin White is an absolute beast on that side of the ball, both in the run game and the passing game. And so, yeah, I think they are a balanced football team. And I think they were more balanced running the football, which also helped. So, yeah, if you can play defense the way they played on the road, against that Saints offense, then, yeah, I think you have a chance going forward.
Well, here's your number here. And, of course, the Bucs had a couple extra games. Well, they're all playoff teams. 128 points off turnovers this season, including these two postseason games. And so, therefore, that's obviously mostly defense, but obviously Tom Brady, okay, you give me an opportunity. Conversely, we didn't show it because it didn't amount. Saints had a big punt return, return to start the game. They had a punt return call back on penalty, although they still had good field position. They got the field goals out of them. And who knew, with 55 minutes left, Tim, that, they didn't cash in on those two opportunities. As it turned out, those were, in retrospect, their best two opportunities of the day. And they didn't really get anything out of it. They missed early, and it cost them, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right, Boom. And then I think the other thing that happens along with that is that you feel like, Tampa, if you're Tampa, you have that new life. When you consider what happened in their previous matchup, had New Orleans been able to jump out on top of them and make them feel like they were playing from behind, I think that would have been, a lot to overcome, even with, Tom Brady as their quarterback, because of how their two previous games against New Orleans went.
Real quick, I know we won't show it, but Tampa ran it. You were impressed with that, and then I want to get your thoughts on Drew Brees. But Tampa running the ball, more than usual, huh?
Boom, called 30 runs. And, they had two backs have over 60 yards rushing. And they were hard runs, guys finishing runs. And I think you need to do that, especially when you consider, how New Orleans' defensive line kind of had their way with Tampa's offensive line. Well, if you maintain some type of balance, you can involve a little play action, makes it harder to rush the quarterback. And I think that really was a discipline from Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich to call the game that way. And it was a huge benefit to that Tampa offense.
Look, you heard Sean Payton say it, Tim. There'll be a press conference, or Drew will speak at another time. But if this is, second-round pick Chargers, San Diego, 2001. We know what he's done for the city, and not only he and his family and what he's done on the football field by winning a Super Bowl, but right after Katrina, that first season, and that's storybook in itself, 06. We could go on, 80-plus thousand yards, number one, 571 regular season touchdowns, number two. Done it with class. He didn't, none of us have our fastball later on, but it's as good as we've ever seen a guy play the position.
Boom, I'm the same draft class as Drew Brees. And, saw him everywhere from the combine through. And let me tell you, I can barely go upstairs without pulling a hamstring. To think that he did it this well for so long is incredible. And he was a guy that didn't come into the league blessed with an arm, like Matthew Stafford or Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes. He did it by, in many ways, working really hard, outsmarting the opponent. And what he has accomplished as a player, anybody that's ever played the game or watched it, quite honestly, has to have a ton of respect for what he's done.
You know what? I think I speak for everybody that follows football fan, everybody in the game, and the hundreds of thousands and the millions that follow it. The simplest thing to say about Drew Brees, Tim, thank you. It's been a gas if this indeed is it. Now, speaking of a gas, when you get to see the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs play football with Patrick Mahomes, that's always fun. Now, the Chiefs had rested a lot of players a couple of weeks ago, had the bye, so, they come in well-rested, a 14-2 team. They essentially had a 9-game winning streak at the end of last year all the way through the Super Bowl, and they have a chance to repeat as Super Bowl champs, the first team since 03 and 04. But the plucky Cleveland Browns, they already slayed Pittsburgh, their nemesis. Could they slay the champs in Arrowhead? Here we go. And this game was fun. And you know what? They had 15,000, which I guess is the biggest playoff crowd we're going to have. Baker Mayfield upset of Patrick Mahomes. They wanted to, but boy, the Chiefs came out firing. Mahomes, opening drive, Tyreek Hill. Meep, the Roadrunner, 26 yards. Second and goal. All the way, look at Andy at the Chiefs mask, everything in red. And Mahomes, in himself, makes the move. They missed the extra point. Somebody caught it in the upper deck, I think, Tim, and it's 6-0 Kansas City. Second quarter. Mahomes is going to scramble deep in the red zone. And pointing out the block, Myles Garrett is right there with him, makes the turn on him safe. But Austin Ryder is going to get a penalty. It backs him up 10 yards. You think they care? Mahomes to Travis Kelce. Watch this. Zing! 13-3, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, the route is just incredible by Kelce, and then the finish at the end zone, so good, like we've seen so many times before.
Baker Mayfield was throwing beautifully because Cleveland couldn't run in the first half. Donovan Peoples-Jones, perfect.
And you couldn't throw it any better than that. Drops it right in there against tight coverage.
But 3rd and 20, there's penalty, and Mayfield back, and he catches, one reception for minus a few yards. Doink! And
knock it down.
Get in the stat page any way you can, right? And the Browns are forced to punt. And against Kansas City, you don't want to go down anymore. They're down. Here we go. Mayfield back to throw. And Njoku over the middle for a first down. It's a gain of 26. They're going to try to cut this to a one-score game down 16-3. Mayfield, Rashard Higgins. It's a fumble at the one. Sorensen hits him. Lots of angles on this. It's a touchback. Oh, my goodness. What a bad break for the Browns and a big play for the Chiefs.
And a hustle play by Sorensen. Maybe he does lower the crown of the helmet. That's not called, but what does happen is his hustle prevents a touchdown, forces the touchback.
And so the Chiefs end up kicking a field goal and go up 19-3 at the half. Third quarter, Mayfield back. This is the first minute of the third quarter. This game is going to be a rout. The Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. Look at the instincts that he has on this ball, Timmy.
I mean, you're right on the instincts. Just a natural football player, reading the eyes of Baker Mayfield right in front of Jarvis Landry. And you thought that was, spelling trouble for Cleveland.
Not only don't they score a touchdown, the Chiefs, but another doink. The weekend of the doinks. And Harrison Butker doinks one, and so it's still 16-point game. And to me, this allowed the Browns to keep running, even though they ran for only 18 yards in the first half. This is their calling card. Nick Chubb got it going. And when you run, you can do play action like this, Tim. And Mayfield to Jarvis Landry, perfect.
Yeah, nice play design, and you're right about the play action. Ball out quickly on time to Landry. Does a nice job of separating the end zone.
So now it's 19-10. Mahomes, Now, at first you thought it was a knee injury. He keeps it himself on 3rd and 1. Mack Wilson with the hit. And then it was apparent he was woozy. And that's an understatement. My goodness. Nothing illegal. The hit was the hit, right? That nothing. And goes to the locker room, the concussion protocol, and you did not have this. Chad Henne, quarterback, 4th and inches, flipping to Darrell Williams. Remember, Edwards-Helaire didn't play. Williams had a big game. Henne, Williams, big offensive players. Chiefs able to convert. Henne, 3rd and 6. Kelce, yes, but you're short of the first down. Sets up a field goal, 22-10. Tyreek Hill says I was open, kind of demonstratively, and then they're all hugs about a minute later on the sideline. 4th and 1, Chubb. See, now the Cleveland line moving the Chiefs, aren't they? 3rd and 3. Mayfield. Njoku. It's a first down. So 4th and 1, a 3rd and 3. And now Cleveland. It's a break. Oh, out of the hands of Landry. Oh, the Honey Badger almost had that one, Tim.
Yeah, normally he comes down with those. Does such a great job of playing the football. Landry drops it. That one could have been going the other way.
But it's 4th and 2, and Mayfield to Austin Hooper. Big catch. First down, Cleveland. Oh.
And it's a great job of Baker. Gives ground, and then Hooper, to the extension, makes a great grab.
Mayfield to Kareem Hunt, the one-time Chief. That's an 18-play drive, ladies and gentlemen. We have a one-score game. 22-17. This has been the way the Chiefs games have gone the last 2 months, except it's Henny. And on 3rd and 5, it's not Mahomes. Remember, it's Henny's game. That's Travis Kelce. Chiefs moving the ball. Henny going to give it to Williams, 31. But there's a flag on the play. Ricky Seals-Jones called for a personal foul, the crackback.
I'm not sure about the call. They call it, now it puts them behind the down and distance.
Now it's 1st and 25, but Andy Reid says, let's go deep. Uh-oh. Henny picked up by Carl Joseph, who had that touchdown on the bad snap, the first play of the Steeler game. He's getting around the ball.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what Chad Henne was thinking. Obviously a brutal decision.
Now with 2 minutes to go, it's 3rd and 14. Can they prevent the Browns from getting the ball? And Henny is going to run it on 3rd and 14. They think he has the first down. They're going to take a look. Let's measure it. Not quite. So now what? 4th and inches. So you certainly, with Cleveland without any timeout, going to run it down. Tick, tick, 9 seconds, 8 seconds. They're not going to run the play. They're going to try to draw us off. And no, wait a minute. They're snapping the ball. And Henny throws it to Hill, who stays in bounds. No one expected that. And that ran out the clock. The coaches congratulate each other at midfield. Kevin Stefanski, what a wonderful year. And look, he wasn't even on the sideline last week because of COVID protocol. But Andy Reid's Chiefs have kept on rolling. They beat the Cleveland Browns 22-17, who gave them in the end all they could handle. Of course, the big question, Patrick Mahomes moving forward. But first off, the Browns, they hung in and they almost pulled it off for Kevin Stefanski.
We're going to share in this defeat like we share in those victories, and it hurts. And there's a finality to this when you don't get it done in the playoffs. That really hurts. So, I appreciate how our guys battled. They fought like they do every single week, and just wasn't enough today.
Sucks, to be quite honest with you guys. I told some of the guys that know for sure are going to be back that we will be back. And as I've said and restated throughout the the season's gone on, that there's a new standard here, and that's to be expected. And this is going to leave a bad taste in our guys' mouths for extra motivation through the offseason.
If the coaches are flinching, if the players, your leaders are flinching, then it's not going to happen. And our locker room's not going to flinch. I mean, they're tough that way. That doesn't mean you're going to win every game. That's not what I'm saying, but it's going to sure give you a chance.
Nothing changed. Chad came in and uplifted us. We uplifted him, and we just rallied together, man. And that's what this team did, offensively, defensively, special teams. We circled the wagon and got a little bit tighter as a group, and found a way to win against a good football team.
Travis, where have we heard that? Circle the wagons. We'll get to that game. That's very interesting. But that's Tim, what the Chiefs did. And look, there's a lot of things to talk about here, but let's break down that 4th and a foot or two where you're trying. There's no way the Browns were counting on this, is there? Take us through that last sequence that we just showed.
Well, I think it's very easy to say that punting in that situation is the right thing to do. So maybe what you do is you put your offense out there on 4th and inches to try to get the Browns to jump off sides. It's your backup quarterback. Of course, that's what you're doing. All right, hey, let's motion it back into the backfield and maybe hard count them again to see if we can get them to jump. All right, well, maybe if they do run a play, boom, maybe they'll hand it off and just try a little dive to potentially get the first down. No, instead, they snap the ball with 5 seconds left, just outside of a minute left to play, and have their backup quarterback, roll out to the right and hit Tyreek Hill. I mean, I think there was an element of surprise, certainly, for the Cleveland Browns, thinking they actually ran a play rather than just trying to get him to jump. Could have burned a timeout in that situation. But it basically goes exactly to what Andy Reid was just talking about in that sound, about not flinching. I think there are plenty of players that would have flinched in that situation. But when you have a coaching staff that won't flinch, then I think that certainly shows itself in the way the players play in that situation.
Well, and this is what we do, says Andy Reid. Obviously, Mahomes is a magic man, and we'll get to him in a second. But to your point, we've seen it through his career in Philly here. And by the way, who knew 2 weeks ago against the Chargers when there was, quote, nothing to play for, that he was warming up Chad Henne for a playoff game? I mean, nobody thought that. But the pedal is still pretty much to the metal. And again, the running back, Williams, stepped up. He had under 200 yards all year. He ran over 70. And Henne made, look, the one ill-advised throw, but the scramble at 14 yards, they're true to the playbook and the way they attack things, aren't they?
Boom, I think it's a great point. And you think about the interception. Well, first off, you're exactly right. Playing him in week 17 gave him some recent playing time, which certainly give the coaching staff some confidence in him, as well as, Chad the opportunity to feel the game speed. But then you think about the bad interception, that magnifies the decision to go for it, when they did. And then I think the other aspect of it is defensively, they were fantastic. They really did a good job. You got to get the football back to that offense to make that play. The stop on first down. Then they come after Baker on second down. They're trying to get the screen, but Frank Clark drops right into it. And then on 3rd and 11, it's Chris Jones forcing the early throw and then the rally to the football. And so, yeah, they stay true to themselves. And I think what's true about this football team is they have a defense that's good enough to get it done.
Well, the defense, and we saw that down the stretch last year as well. But they have a quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, who now is in concussion protocol. And after the game, look, nobody really knows where this is going to lead the next day or so. But here are the Chiefs after the game on what they knew at the time.
Yeah, he's actually doing very well. I mean, I just talked to him, and he's doing good. We'll see how he is tomorrow, but I mean, right now he's feeling good.
Obviously, you never want to see a guy like Patrick go down. Obviously, one of the best players in the league, but that's why I'm here, come in prepared.
Those hits are scary. You never want to see that, especially with, obviously being extremely familiar with Pat. You just don't want to see that, so hopefully he's okay. Safety first. I hope he's okay.
Well, and we'll have to see. The protocol moving forward. It sounds upbeat considering that your star quarterback left, and we're doing this Sunday night. It may take as the week goes on, but every football fan is hopeful that Mahomes can play in the championship game against the Buffalo Bills. Obviously.
Yeah, and that's why it was good to hear Andy say, what he said. Obviously, that doesn't remove him from the protocol. Because let's face it, Boom. I mean, getting a chance to see Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen play, two of probably the most talented quarterbacks in the AFC facing each other, is about as good as it can possibly get, for championship weekend.
Real quick on the Browns, because look, they're here. You know what impressed us? You and I were talking, and I think everybody. Last year, Cleveland was a different animal in their football team. High expectations, histrionics, fireworks, and where did they go? This year, they became a team to me, emblematic of kind of the city they represent. They got to the playoffs. They won their first playoff game, and against their own nemesis there, the Steelers, first win since '94. They went toe-to-toe with the Chiefs. They run the ball. They have a good pass rush. They're willing to work. This is a working team and a team you can really like.
There's an identity with this football team, and it's clear. And to think that Kevin Stefanski was able to get that to kind of show itself in 1 year when, it was a strange offseason and a strange season for that matter. We know who the Cleveland Browns are, Boom. You just described the city, and it describes the team because, yes, they are a tough team that wants to run the football, and they've got a quarterback that's gritty and tough as well.
Yeah, he really came on, and it's not about me. They were very likable, and this bodes very well moving forward for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, we don't usually say that at the end of a season. Well, end of a season, end of a 2-decade career. Certainly, we don't know, but a lot of emotion in the Superdome as Drew Brees spoke after the Saints lost to the Bucs.
I'll answer this question one time, and that is that I'm going to give myself an opportunity to think about the season, think about a lot of things, just like I did last year, and make a decision. I would never regret it, never. No complaints, no regrets. Man, I've always tried to play this game with a great respect and a great reverence for it. And man, I appreciate all that this game has given to me.
Well, Drew Brees, as classy as there's been and as fun a guy to watch, and you pointed it out earlier, never given much of a chance. Oh, he's too short. He's too everything. We know the story.
Yeah.
It just didn't end up in another Super Bowl run by him, but certainly the Saints, he will be remembered generations from now, Tim. There's nothing more to say on it. And we'll wait till Drew decides. I think it's only fair.
I think you're right. And you probably said it best by saying, you know what? Hey, thank you, because he provided a lot of entertainment and a lot of inspiration for so many people in the city of New Orleans, really, anybody that's watched him ever play.
Well, and that Drew Brees is not moving on, and we'll see. At least his team isn't. And now we know who the championship game matchups are. And in the AFC, number 2 Buffalo at number 1 Kansas City. And won't that be a fun game? And the Buccaneers are moving on to Green Bay. The Bucs have to go on the road through the whole playoffs, except if they win this game, they get to play the Super Bowl in their home stadium. Tom Brady is about to play, Tim, in his 14th championship game. I mean, my goodness. Now, Otto Graham, the 4 in the AAFC, 10 years, 10 championship game. But Tom, 14. There's Otto Graham and Joe Montana, and look at the names that he has long dwarfed. And Andy Reid is about to play in his 8th, or coach's 8th championship game on the other side of it for the Kansas City Chiefs. As for Tom Brady, moving on, another chance to get to a Super Bowl, which is his part-time residence.
The way the defense played today, they were spectacular. The way the offensive line played, Leonard, Rowe, it was just huge. All those guys came up big, and we talked about it all week, what we're going to need to win, to get it accomplished. And, it's a long ways from last time we played these guys at home. And certainly, we started the season here, and it's a lot better feeling sitting in this tent this time around than first time I was sitting here about 18 weeks ago.
So imagine Tom's going to have to play a big game in the cold, Tim, right? Like that's never happened before.
I think he hopes it snows. To think that he's back to that point, to see that graphic of what he's accomplished and to do it with a new team, boom, it's remarkable. Obviously a treat to see, Drew and Tom play each other, but, to see Tom and Aaron go at it in a meaningful game, both those guys at this stage of their career, I mean, to think it's just been absolutely incredible to watch and to see that the way that he's approached the game, how that has impacted that Tampa Bay Buccaneers football team.
Until the 6-win winning streak by the Bucs, the best game of the year they had was when they skunked the Tampa Bay earlier in the season. As for Buffalo at Kansas City, well, we hope that Patrick plays, and we think he will, but we don't know that. Him against Josh Allen, and both teams with sneaky good defenses. Buffalo won with defense Saturday against Baltimore.
Yeah, I think both those teams probably better than advertised defensively because we talk so much about the quarterbacks. And boom, with Andy Reid calling plays and the way that it's gone for Buffalo, we could see, 40 passes without a called run to start the football game.
Well, however these turn out, we're steamrolling toward a wonderful Super Bowl that, if you really think, we weren't sure that we would ever get anywhere close to. So for Tim Hasselback, this is Chris Berman. This is our swan song on ESPN Plus. We do championship game primetime, heaven forbid, on ESPN, the original. Thanks for joining us all 19 weeks here. We had a blast.